Every day, something dramatic happens in the Caribbean that affects our lives. We'll give you the details. We'll give you the facts on Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick. Here's Eddie Frederick.
Welcome to Caribbean Perspective. So glad you can join us. The story that dominates in today's edition for Wednesday, 18th June 2025, and brought to you in association with our friends at Antillean Group. St. Lucia's Prime Minister said his administration received no official word from the US on travel ban. Details after this important message.
Believe in our strength, we'll stand by you. Protection from all, perils big and small. Reassurance we give, it's so glad to see. Peace of mind, that's our service guarantee. We look after all our family. Yes, we do at every opportunity.
Antillean Group, underwriters of all classes of insurance solutions for your protection and investment. Live well financially.
The hurricane season is now upon us, so we as Caribbean people need to remember to think safety and be prepared. Avoid venturing outside during a storm or hurricane, especially if there are strong winds. Rooftops and other debris are often blown about and can cause great damage.
Welcome back. St. Lucia's Prime Minister Philip J. Pear said his administration has received no official notice from the United States about being added to a travel ban list, despite a leaked memo suggesting otherwise. He says ongoing regional reforms are already addressing concerns tied to citizenship by investment programs. Miriam Montoute of the DBS News World reports.
A leaked memo signed by Secretary of State Marco Rubio, published by the Washington Post, claims that the Trump administration is considering expanding its travel ban to include 36 more countries, citing concerns such as weak passport systems, failure to accept deportees, and homeland security threats. According to the Washington Post, countries have 60 days to meet U.S. benchmarks or face full or partial entry bans. Among those under review are OECS members St. Lucia, Antigua and Barbuda, Dominica, and St. Kitts and Nevis, all of which operate citizenship by investment programs, CIPs. The memo raises concerns that these programs may grant citizenship without adequate vetting or residency requirements, posing risks to U.S. border security. During Monday's pre-cabinet press briefing, Prime Minister Philip J. Pear stated that his government received no official word from the U.S. on this matter.
I want to inform you that we have had no official notification from the U.S. on any such matter. But we will continue to work with our contacts and our embassies in Washington, in New York, and the Ministry of External Affairs will continue to explore avenues with the embassy in Barbados to ascertain whether there is any truth in the matter.
During his visit to Washington, D.C. this May, Prime Minister Pear said that no such talks of a blacklist came up with Secretary of State Marco Rubio. As for concerns regarding the island CIP, Pear says that St. Lucia is in constant discussions with the U.S. and EU. Currently, he says there is ongoing work spearheaded by the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank on joint CIP legislation across the region.
So I just want to tell you that the changes in the CI program were not done by us. It was done by them. That is a fact. You will hear a lot of noise and propaganda and misinformation and mistruths. That is a fact. But we are willing to trim our program in terms of making it acceptable, because we understand the economic benefits of the CIP program.
The memo gives the affected governments until Wednesday to submit a preliminary plan detailing how they will work towards meeting the new requirements. For the DBS News World, Miriam Montoute reporting.
Amid warnings from the United States Trump administration regarding the use of Cuba's international medical program, Vice President of Guyana Barrett Jagdeo has clarified that Guyana's recruitment of foreign healthcare professionals is not limited to Cuba. Tiana Cole of HGP Nightly News reports.
During his weekly press conference, Jagdeo clarified that Guyana is sourcing healthcare workers from multiple countries while ensuring that those coming from Cuba meet international standards.
But we're working to ensure that the people who come here from Cuba, that they meet the definition because of what the U.S. Secretary of State mentioned, that the conditions of work here don't run afoul of the requirements set by the United States of America. But we are recruiting from around the world.
He added that while there are many countries to recruit from, the government's long-term goal is to train as many Guyanese as possible to serve in the health sector.
So we're recruiting nursing assistants and a whole range of people to do that, to do the work. But right now, we don't have enough healthcare personnel to offer the expanded level of services that will come through the opening of these new hospitals. So we have to train more of our people. We have to increase their remuneration and working conditions.
Jagdeo emphasized that for now, foreign professionals are needed to bridge the gap and that the recruitment is being done from various parts of the world, not solely Cuba.
But we don't want this service to suffer because of the shortage of Guyanese healthcare professionals. We want a good quality service until we can fill those positions with our own people.
Guyana is set to open 5 more hospitals this year as part of its plan to expand healthcare access and improve service delivery across the country. Tiana Cole reporting for the HGP Nightly News.
You're listening to Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick, in association with our friends at
Antillean Group, underwriters of all classes of insurance solutions for your protection and investment. Live well financially.
Antigua and Barbuda's Foreign Affairs Minister, E.P. Chet Green, is mounting another vigorous defense of Antigua and Barbuda's Citizenship by Investment program. The minister says the program is second to none. His comments come amid reports from the Washington Post that the United States may impose travel restrictions on dozens of countries, including Antigua and Barbuda, St. Lucia, St. Kitts and Nevis, and Dominica. The Washington Post says it has seen an internal State Department memo signed by Secretary of State Marco Rubio detailing the proposals. The memo identified varied benchmarks that, in the Trump administration's estimation, these countries were failing to meet. One of the reasons pointed to the availability of citizenship by monetary investment without a requirement for residency. Antigua and Barbuda's Citizenship by Investment unit does have a residency requirement. Successful applicants must visit for at least 5 days within the first 5 years.
And so I leave here this morning, I'm going to another platform where we're fighting like hell, might I say, with the U.S. government that wants to impose travel sanctions on us. For that reason, God only knows. We will not be bullied. Our foreign policy is one of principle.
An economist in Trinidad and Tobago, Dr. Roger Hussain, says the Auditor General does not need to have access to central bank's accounts to show that the economy is in a terrible state. He was speaking on TV6's Morning Edition, and Renissa Cutting reports.
Economist Dr. Roger Hussain is of the opinion that regardless of what the Auditor General discovers, if and when she accesses the central bank's accounts, the result will be the same.
I think it's just a matter of moving the needle just a few decimal points. I don't think it's, but because the economy is in a terrible position. Regardless of the block of information that is available is sufficient to make it clear that this economy is in a terrible position.
Given the state of the economy, Hussein believes the government will increase some taxes in the mid-year budget review.
I won't be surprised that we see more taxes on gambling and on casinos and on alcohol and on cigarettes, because those are easy hit and easy places to collect revenues. I won't be surprised if I see that the diaspora is wooed in a greater way, because those are easy places to collect remittance revenues. I won't be surprised if I see a greater effort being made at tourism, because again, low-hanging fruit.
He notes, however, that the government can only do so much in the mid-year budget review, and adds the 2025-2026 budget presentation will be the real test. He's hoping to see policies which address the following:
crime, the non-energy fiscal balance, and non-energy export revenues. Once we get those three variables on the improve, the economy has a chance. In the last 10 years, the murder level will worsen, if I may use as a benchmark. The non-energy fiscal balance will continue on its merry way downwards, and non-energy export revenues was neither here nor there. It was dormant, no real buoyancy. Those are the three variables that would bail out the Trinidad and Tobago economy.
Renessa Cutting, TV6 News.
As the PNM prepares to celebrate its 70th anniversary and heads into its internal election this weekend, opposition leader Penelope Beckles is calling for reflection and reform. In a passionate address in her hometown of San Fernando, Beckles acknowledged the party's past pain, current divisions, and the urgent need to do better.
Opposition leader Penelope Beckles returned to her roots in San Fernando, the city where she grew up and went to school. But her message was anything but sentimental. It was a reality check.
And when you learn your lesson and you go through the history of the party for the last 70 years, it is because no matter what happened, no matter if we lost, no matter if candidates didn't win, we found a mechanism to come back together through all the hurt and the pain and make sure that we go together as one PNM.
That growth, she says, can only be achieved if the party is honest about its failings.
Somewhere along the line, if we are being honest, we have lost our way as it relates to the functioning of many of the arms of our great party. And those who have offered themselves to serve know that we have to do better. Because some of the reasons why we found ourselves in opposition is because many of the officers fell down on the job.
Beckles warned that power struggles and ambition without accountability are holding the party back.
And I want to just caution those who are so excited or appear to be excited or interested in office in the party that they don't understand that we cannot move forward if they continue to operate in the way they're operating.
She pointed to attacks on members of a slate who once served under previous prime ministers.
Irene Hines, Foster Cummings, and Indar Parasram were on the slate of the Honorable Patrick Manning. They were also on the slate of Dr. Keith Christopher Rowley. Coming on the slate of Penelope Beckles, they become the worst thing since sliced bread. And I'm asking myself, what it has happened in between the time that they were there for the two political leaders and prime ministers, and as soon as they come across by penny, something becomes wrong. And that is what we have to be careful about in the PNM.
She emphasized her commitment to accessibility, hosting open days at the party's headquarters, as well as its Shogunas and San Fernando offices. Beckles closed by reminding supporters that 13 MPs today can still be effective, just as 3 were after the party's historic 1986 loss. Aksha Gulston, TV6 News.
I am Eddie Frederick. This has been Caribbean Perspective, a whole new approach to highlighting developments in the Caribbean. In the meantime, please follow us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel for daily regional news and more, in association with our friends at Antillian Group.
Believe in our strength, we'll stand by you. Protection from all perils, big and small. Reassurance we give, it's so clear to see. Peace of mind, that's our service guarantee. We look after all our family. Yes, we do at every opportunity.
Antillian Group, underwriters of all classes of insurance solutions for your protection and investment. Live well financially.